What's good, y'all? It's your boy Sean Peter Blunt God. Hey! And we are back again with another One Piece chapter reaction. Today we are reacting to One Piece chapter 1065, The Six Faces of Vegapunk. Oh. Before we get into the chapter today, make sure you guys hit that like button. Also, subscribe. Hit that bell for notifications. Also, comment down below your thoughts on the chapter as well. What do you agree with me? Or what do you disagree with me as far as my reaction? Let me know down in the comments. Also, follow me on Twitch so you can catch me live and you can engage with me in real time. And follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Join the Discord. Make sure you guys join the Discord. The Discord is the best place to engage with me at. And if you want to send me One Piece content to react to, I have a reaction channel there for you guys to submit the videos or the theories that you want me to react to. And if it's not One Piece content, I'll probably react to it on like a chill stream on a Saturday or something. I don't know. But yeah, definitely join the Discord. But yeah, y'all know what today is. Y'all know what time it is. We about to react to a new One Piece chapter. You know, the early chapters. All right, so we are about to get into One Piece chapter 1065, The Six Paths of Vegapunk. Nah, I'm joking. It's The Six Faces of Vegapunk, bro. Like the title could be Six Paths of Vegapunk almost. I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. So last chapter, we got some Blackbeard action. We got some dang, I kind of forgot what happened last chapter. It feel like it's been so long. But yeah, we got some Vegapunk stuff. We got some Blackbeard stuff. Some Law, Blackbeard. Hey, I know I'm probably forgetting stuff. It feels like it's been a minute, y'all. It feels like it's been a minute since I read a One Piece chapter. So excuse me if I'm a little forgetful today. Plus, I'm so excited for this new chapter because it's just I've been thirsting for some new One Piece content, man. I've been thirsting for some One Piece content. All right, so let's get into this chapter. All right, so we start off. Hold on. I'm gonna need to make this big. So we start off with the Shonen Jump page, and I guess it got it's promoting the One Piece film Red. We got Luffy, we got Alti on it. Saying One Piece film Red 2022 #1. I guess it's just showcasing how it's doing well in the theaters. You know, you definitely gotta show some love for the One Piece Red movie. I still got to see it. I don't know if it dropped yet in US, but I still gotta see it though. Still need to see it. It's gonna be tough these next few. It's gonna be tough for me to go see it though, man. That's why I'm gonna try to see it, but it's gonna be a little tough for these next few weeks. Cause why they have to drop in November like that? Out of all months, why have to drop in November? Come on, bro. Like god dang. Yeah, that's tough, bro. I'm mad it had to drop in November of all months. Of all months. November, December like the worst months for me, like to do stuff because Christmas is around the way. I'm going home to see family and stuff, so it's just tough, man. It's just tough. The Joy Boy said probably a fan made poster, but I love a God Valley movie. I don't know, bro. Like I googled it and it does seem like there's going to be a Rocks movie coming out. I don't now the poster itself might be fan made, but it does look like there's gonna be a Rocks movie. I googled it like right before I started the stream, so I ain't really get to do much research. But it looks like it's could be. And he said also seeing Red later today. Hey man, hey good on you, man. Good on you. All right, so moving on to the next page, we got a big cover page with promoting One Piece Film Red. We see Gear 5th Luffy. So I'm assuming Gear 5th Luffy is going to be in One Piece Film Red, which if you think about it, that might actually spoil it for the anime later, right? Because Gear 5th Luffy hasn't been in the anime just yet. So for people who don't follow the manga, and has been, even though they probably been spoiled because manga readers cannot like contain themselves and just not spoiling big moments like that for non-manga readers. So I'm pretty sure if you're just an anime only watcher, you probably seen Gear 5th Luffy. It's just it is what it is at this point. It's almost impossible to avoid big spoilers such as a new transformation. So it's not even going to be really special for the anime only people because not only are manga readers just spilling the beans and posting pictures of Gear 5th Luffy, we also got Film Red that might have Gear 5th Luffy in it as well. But I don't know. It's just on this poster. So we see Usopp Frankie. We got one box with Usopp Frankie, one box with Zoro and Kobe. So I'm assuming Kobe's gonna be in the movie. We got a box with Ben Beckman. We got one with Yasop, and I forget the other guy's name. He's part of the Red Hair Pirates though. Then we got Gear 5th Luffy, of course. Next between him and Shanks, we got Alti, where it says Red One Piece Film, and then of course Shanks right after Alti. And then below Gear 5th Luffy, we got Chopper and Robin, and then next to Chopper and Robin, we got Sanji and what looks to be Oven. So, are the Big Mom Pirates going to be in One Film Red or One Piece Film Red as well? Like, is that what it's looking like? Because even after that, we got Katakuri and I forgot that guy's name. He's like got the shark teeth or whatever. Next to him, we got that guy who carries the monkey with him. Like, I don't know most of Shanks' crew. Like, I don't know their names, bro. Like, I know, Lucky Roo, Ben Beckman, Yasop, and Shanks. Those are the only names I remember in the Shanks crew. Okay, so below Robin and Chopper, we got Nami and Brooke and Zeus. Then we got Helmeppo and Jinbei in the panel. And then we got next to Jinbei and Helmeppo, we got Lucky Roo and I don't know his name. I don't know that guy's name. But then to the right of that, we got other Shanks pirates. So yeah, it just it's a One Piece film poster. I'm a little upset they're gonna have Gear 5th in it, but it is what it is. Alright, so let's get into this chapter. We got One Piece chapter 1065, the Six Faces of Vegapunk. And we start at the lab stratum of Egghead and the island of the future. And we see Zoro talking. He says, the way I see it, when it comes to a government island, you gotta think about who's going to be around to bail them out if they get caught. So I hope Zoro don't get like Zoro and Brooke decided to stay on the ship. So I feel as though even though Zoro's staying on the ship, he got the capacity to get lost. Zoro still manages to get lost, even if the only way not to get lost is just to stay where you're at. He'll still get lost. That's Zoro for you. And I feel as though you can't have an arc without Zoro getting lost somehow. It's just One Piece like for him not to get lost. So Brooke says, yo, I was thinking the same thing. Would you care for some tea? And then we got Caribou outside of his prison, and he says, excuse me, sirs. And then Zoro says, You're still here? And then Caribou says, hang on, just give me a moment of your time. I know our deal was to drop me off anywhere away from Wano, but I didn't think we'd be heading for a government island. Oh, okay. So I'm assuming they're going to drop Caribou off at, or the plan is to drop Caribou off at Egghead Island. I'm assuming that's what the plan is, you know. But I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think Caribou is going to stay on this island. I think they might end up, something's going to happen where they might have to take Caribou with them or something. I don't know. Or unless Caribou does slip away and then escape, because there has to come a point where Caribou meets up with this person this mysterious person that he's involved with or working for, right? That he wants to tell about Pluton and Poseidon and the poneglyphs. Well, I don't know if he knows anything about the poneglyphs. He might know a little bit, but he wouldn't have a copy, so it wouldn't matter, right? So there's somebody he has to report to. So it has to come a point in the story where Caribou at least attempts to meet up with this person, you know. So I think if I think this might be the best time for the Straw Hats and Caribou to split if it's going to happen, you know, because if it happens later, I don't know, but there has to come a point where Caribou splits from the Straw Hats though, and I think this may be the ideal time. But again, Oda, can't question what Oda does. All right, so Zoro says, I heard you helped our captain out. Appreciate it. See you around. Hey man, thanks for helping my captain, bro. Peace. Caribou said, these jerks, I'll remember this. So then we cut to the lab and we see a big escalator going into the lab, and I'm assuming those are the Straw Hats because we see some silhouettes going up this escalator, and they say, whoa. So we see Usopp and Nami excited, and they say, the stairs are moving. New steps are sprouting out of the ground. What kind of setup is this? How's it powered? So yeah, it's One Piece world. They kind of live with a little more primitive technology, even though One Piece technology is still pretty advanced. Like Den Mushi's work exactly like cell phones. In the real world, in the world that we live in, cell phones are rather new, right? Like they came out maybe the 90s, about like the 80s or the 90s. We had the big old brick cell phones. I know I'm dating myself, right? I'm revealing my age right now because a lot of y'all might not know what I'm talking about. But there was a time when cell phones first started, it was like the first cell phones were these big old brick white cell phones. Like I'm trying to compare it with something, right? It was like this tissue box, right? Like you talking to your cell phone. That's like the old cell phone. That's the old the first cell phones we had, bro. Like them things were big, man. They were big. Maybe not like, they were more like this, like this. Like they were thin, a little thicker, but yeah, that was the old cell phones. But they got cell phones in One Piece, in the One Piece world, or snail phones, snail phones. All right, so Vegapunk says, you could say the whole island runs on fire. The whole island runs on fire. I wonder what she means by the island running on fire. Like actual fire, or is it just kind of is she just kind of just saying that, like, like she's just saying, oh yeah, it runs on fire, or does it actually run on fire? I wonder why she ain't say like electricity or something. unless electric is looked at. I don't think that'd be the case. I'm kind of thinking of Avatar, right? Like the firebenders could produce electricity, right? Like some of them, they could produce electricity. So, yeah, maybe that's kind of like, when she said runs by fire, she means electricity, but I don't know. Somebody said, or I'm assuming this is still Vegapunk talking. I think Lilith Vegapunk. She says, after all, you can convert its power into any kind of energy. And then someone asked, I'm assuming this might be Frankie because he would notice. He said, doesn't that burn through a load of natural resources? And I'm assuming this is Lilith talking again. He says, I'm always looking into alternative fuels. Okay. See, even in the One Piece world, it's those alternate fuels, man. More eco-friendly fuels, right? And then Lilith says, if only there was such a thing as an eternal flame. Eternal flame. I wonder if there's such thing as an eternal flame in One Piece. And then she continues, then I'd be able to make my very own sun. And then Frankie says, a sun? And we see Lilith like on this little panel or something. And it says slide. And then Frankie says, what the? She's going right through the wall. Oh, so it wasn't a panel. It was just the wall. It looked like a little panel, like a little panel. I thought she was like playing on, but nah, she's actually going through a wall. And then someone talks to her over her little earpiece, and they say, Lilith. So Lilith is on the other side of the door, and someone screaming, "Hey, open up!" And then we hear Lilith-chan. We all know that's Sanji right there. Freaking Sanji. And then Lilith says, "Stop dilly-dallying and walk through. You should never let your own sense dupe you." And then she talks over her little earpiece and says, "What is it, Edison?" And so we see Sanji poke his head through the door, and he says, And it says slide. And then we see Robin walk through the door, and she says, we passed through too. And then we see, is that Usopp? I think that's Usopp like knocking back on the door. He says, no way, it's turned back into metal again. Knock knock. How the heck does that work? And then Frankie says, so this is the lab. And we see Sanji, he says, where did Lilith-chan go? Hey. And then we hear somebody, must be over like a speaker. And they say, y'all can keep going dead ahead. And Sanji says, who's that? So it must be over like an intercom, I'm assuming. And we get a translator note. It says, speaks in a heavy Kansai accent. What is a Kansai accent? Anybody know what a Kansai accent is? Let me know in the comments. And then it says, I'm Vegapunk Edison. Or am Vegapunk Edison. I'm going to speak in the country voice. Howdy. Now just keep walking like I said. Okay, so maybe Kansai stands for like a country accent. I don't know. But based on how the wording is, like saying howdy, that's kind of a country. It's like a country term. So I'm assuming it's going to be like a country accent. It says, I'm Addison. Howdy. Now just keep walking like I said. I gotta look that up, man. What is a con? Let me look that up real quick. I'm I'm curious what a Kansai accent is. Kansai. Okay, so Kansai is like a region of Japan, or the Kinku region lies in the southern central region of Japan. Okay, so I don't know how they speak in Kansai, honestly, so I can't really talk about it. Oh shoot! I just turned the page. Oh man! Oh, we need to bring Jinbei. Oh man! All right, let's continue. We see Nami getting super excited, and she says, "Let's look for some future treasure." And then Usopp says, "Future treasure, like what?" And then Nami says, like a flower made entirely out of exquisite antique gems." And then Usopp says, "That's a weird fantasy. I can't I can't yell if your taste or I can't tell if your taste is closer to a little girl or an old hag." And then we see Nami kicking the hell out of Usopp, and she says, "Future kick." And Usopp yelling. And then Sanji says, "Huh?" And then Frankie says, "Hey, what are you doing here, Jinbei?" So we see Jinbei. We see like a seraphim, a seraphim Jinbei, Seraphim 04. So that's Jinbei's number, Seraphim 04. So I'm assuming all the seraphim have numbers. So I would assume that if this is the case, that all the seraphim have numbers, because see how Jinbei has a number, Seraphim 04. I would assume that Kuma would be Seraphim either 00 or 01. Because he's most likely the first Seraphim, I would say, because Vegapunk was always experimenting on Kuma and had his DNA and all that. So I would assume that Kuma is indeed the first Seraphim, meaning Seraphim 1. First or second, because there could be like a Vegapunk Seraphim for all we know. I don't know, right? Like maybe Vegapunk created himself as the first Seraphim. So but I would say Kuma is definitely the first Seraphim of all the Shichibukai. You know. Frankie says Jinbei. And then Robin says, "I don't think that's him. Doesn't he look a little too young?" And then Usopp says, "Well, my first guess would be he's his son." I think that's a fair assessment, though. I can't say they're wrong. And then Nami says, "Yeah, but on second thought, maybe Jinbei was somehow turned into a kid." And then Sanji says, "Nah, I'm going with option 3. It's a coincidence." A coincidence. Okay. I mean, the kid's got wings, although there's an ominous air about him. Okay, I mean, okay, then Sanji's right, but why does he look like Jinbei, though? That's the question. Even though, I mean, I guess us as readers, we already know, but, you know, they say, "Out with it. Who the heck are you?" And then we see this Jinbei Seraphim clutching his fists like he ready to fight. And Frankie says, "He may look like a kid, but he's just as big as the real Jinbei." And then he says, "I've got a bad feeling there's a fourth possibility. He's a pacifista." Yeah. Now that we see Jinbei like about to shoot a laser out of his hands. You know. So hold on. Because I'm a little confused. It seemed as though the Straw Hats were pretty much being led to this. And if this is the case, if the Straw Hats were being led to this Jinbei Seraphim who looks like he's about to attack him, is this all like a ploy by Vegapunk? You know, for them to fight this Jinbei Seraphim, maybe just to test him out. They're kind of is Vegapunk testing the Straw Hats? Is he using them as guinea pigs? Is that why he's interested in them? It's not that he wants them to live. He's just using them as guinea pigs. Because it seemed like they were led to this Jinbei Seraphim that's about to attack him. I'm starting to question Vegapunk's intentions. You know, now ultimately, I don't think Vegapunk is trying to kill the Straw Hats, but I don't understand his intentions in leading the Straw Hats to this Jinbei Seraphim. If that's unless they made like a wrong turn, but it don't even seem like they made any turns. It seemed like they was just walking and ran into this Jinbei Seraphim. So we see this huge explosion, and like the Straw Hats narrowly avoided it. You know, matter of fact, they're getting like blown away by this explosion. So I can't even really say they avoided it. And then we see Usopp fall back, and he says, "This was all one giant trap. We should have known the government was never going to roll out the red carpet." Hey, Usopp, that same thing I'm saying, bro. Like, what's going on here? What is going on? And then we see Nami pull out the climb attack, and she says, "Does that mean they're using a clone of Jinbei as a soldier?" And they say, and she says, "But he's still a kid. I really don't want to fight him." I mean, it's looking like y'all gonna have to fight, Nami. It's looking like y'all gonna have to fight. So we see Jinbei. It's like beep beep, and then he jumps into the floor. He kind of like Senior Pink. It's like he like dives into the floor like Senior Pink, right? That's wild. He dives into the floor like Senior Pink, and then Nami says, "Huh?" And then Usopp says, "He's got fruit powers." And then Nami says, "What's going on? Should I pop out to help Nami?" "Not yet, Zeus." So that was Zeus talking to Nami. And then Frankie says, "Hey, I know that ability." Hold on, bro. Somebody said that it was stated that these Seraphims don't have devil fruit abilities. Now, because I remember talking about if the Kuma Seraphim had Kuma's devil fruit ability, but somebody stated that it was said that they didn't have devil fruit abilities. But we see Jinbei look like this Jinbei Seraphim. Now, maybe the Jinbei Seraphim has a devil fruit ability, not the Kuma one. Or maybe Kuma just doesn't have, maybe the Kuma Seraphim doesn't have Kuma's devil fruit if he has a devil fruit ability. Maybe he doesn't have Kuma's devil fruit ability. I don't know, but it's definitely look like these Seraphim can and do have devil fruit abilities. So the Jinbei Seraphim pops out of the floor and grabs Nami by the neck and says, and somebody screams, "Nami!" And then Nami says, "Jinbei." And we see like the star in the Jinbei Seraphim's eye. Oh boy, we gonna you know who gonna act. We know who's about to act. We know who's about to do something about this. You know what I'm saying? We know it's gonna be Super Simp Sanji. Nah, let me leave Sanji alone. I love Sanji. Sanji says, "That's it. You just signed your own death warrant." And he says, "I don't give a crap whether you're Jinbei or not." And then we see Sanji activate his Diable Jinbei. Diable Jinbei, right? Diable Jinbei. Hey, Sanji gonna have to pay some royalties to Jinbei for taking my man's name for a move. And so Sanji kicks the Seraphim, and he pretty much kicks him with the Diablo Jinbei, and the Jinbei Seraphim falls back, and now we see Robin pulling out the her what you call that? I'm trying to think what they call it in Naruto. The Susanoo. Nah, Robin pulling out the Susanoo. Nah, but it's the she's pulling out her Gigante Fleur. Fleur. I don't know how to say Fleur. Robin says what he said, that was unforgivable. What he said. What did he say? You mean what he did? What he did was unforgivable? That's what I'm assuming she meant. What he did was unforgivable, not what he said. I don't even think the Jinbei Seraphim said anything. And then, yo, that looked dope. That the Robin Susanoo with all them arms. Oh, that's a dope attack right there. I like it. I like it. It kind of remind me of the chairman from Hunter x Hunter a little bit. I think that's who I'm thinking of. Could be somebody else though. Or no, it's another anime I'm thinking where it's like a bunch of arms, like attacking somebody. It's not Hunter x Hunter. That's not what I'm thinking of though. Even though Hunter x Hunter is kind of similar though. So we see the Jinbei Seraphim looking at the oncoming attack, and Robin hits him with the Snapdragon Spank. Okay, Robin out here. See, I love to see it, bro. I love to see it. Anytime we get some Robin action, like not just like beating up fodder characters. I mean some actual Robin action. I love to see it because I love Robin's Devil Fruit. You know, I think Robin has one of the most underrated Devil Fruits in the series. You know, bro, like the potential for what she could do, and how she could easily beat people. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, bro. She got a nice Devil Fruit. It's a great Devil Fruit. You could sprout it on any surface. I mean, especially if she learns some armament hockey and she could coat her the arms that she sprout on other people. She could coat that in hockey and just punch you. Like even Logias. I mean, I don't know how she was spawning on the Logia if they're in their elemental form. But while they're not in their elemental form, you know, before they have a chance to like turn into their element, she could sprout it on her body and then just punch them with hockey, and they can't really phase through the hockey punch, you know. Or she could choke them with armament hockey, right? And they ain't gonna be able to just phase through that choke. They're gonna have to take that choke. I'm just saying. So, oh, that is dope. That is dope. So, okay. So, this Jinbei Seraphim is using like Senior Pink's ability, kind of. Which leads me to question: how did Vegapunk get hold of Senior Pink's Devil Fruit ability? Right? Like, was Senior Pink like a prisoner at one point? Because it makes sense with Kaido how Vegapunk was able to recreate Kaido's Devil Fruit, because Kaido was a prisoner at one point, right? So it makes me think the only way Vegapunk could really recreate Devil Fruits is if she is in possession of, or if he or she is in possession of the person wielding the Devil Fruit, because then you could take the DNA from that person and recreate a Devil Fruit. Or if Vegapunk has the actual Devil Fruit as well. Like one of those two ways, I would assume that's how Vegapunk recreates Devil Fruits. So this Jinbei Seraphim has Senior Pink's Devil Fruit abilities from what we see. How did Vegapunk get a hold of the fruit's DNA? You know, so But Jinbei is able to kind of like use the floor, right? Like when Jinbei go dives into the floor, it turns almost like a liquid. So it's liquefying the floor to a degree, you could say. That's kind of how Senior Pink's ability works. It liquefies the floor, allowing you to swim in it, right? Jinbei is able to use that as if it was water, though. Like we see Jinbei do so many times. That's dope. That is dope, and that is a great devil fruit for somebody like Jinbei. You know, even though I wouldn't think Jinbei should get a devil fruit because it's better he doesn't, because then he'll lose his ability to swim. But I like it. I like it. So Jinbei is going in for the attack on Robin, and Usopp says, "Get out of there, Robin, so you can use Fishman Karate too." Bro, I mean, it's Jinbei's DNA. What can you say? You know, of course, this Jinbei should be able to use it. You know, so Usopp throws a lethal green star skull exploding grass. Hey, is this like a new ammunition from Usopp? I don't think I've ever seen Usopp use this ammunition. Let me know in the comments when if Usopp ever used this attack. I don't recall. I know he's used the green stars and stuff, but skull exploding grass. I don't think he's ever used skull exploding grass. Usopp says, "I know this isn't Jinbei, but this still feels messed up." And then Usopp says, he's gone. And then he comes right behind Usopp and look like he's putting Usopp in the headlock. Bro, this Seraphim Jinbei is a problem, especially with that senior Pank ability, bro. Especially with that senior Pank ability. This is wild. And then Sanji says, "Usopp." And then Frankie says, "I've got this, Sanji. Usopp, don't move a muscle." And we see Frankie use a radical. He's going for a radical beam. And then someone says, "Watch it, Shark." And then Frankie finishes his attack, says, "Beam." And then did something step in front of that attack? I'm confused. Did something step in front of that attack? I'm not sure. But we see a big cyborg looking thing, like a mech, and it says Howie. And we see this little cat looking thing. I mean, it's hard to tell what exactly it is because we only see like behind him, but he must be controlling this mech or whatever. And he says he just used the beam. Who in tarnation is this guy? And then he says, reckon this is getting real risky. The Seraphim's still just a kid. We ain't meant to put it through a laser test till later. Why does thing look like so this is Dr. Vegapunk Edison, Flare. It kind of remind me of that god in Dragon Ball Super. The god of everything. I don't know his name, but I mean I don't really watch Dragon Ball Super like that. But it kind of remind me of the main god, the one who could like destroy universes and stuff. It remind me of him. This Dr. Vegapunk Edison, Flare. So we see Lilith, and Lilith says, "You said it." Does he have the faintest idea how much one Seraphim costs? I'll rip his blasted skull off. Wouldn't go that far. Don't you think that's a bit too evil? I mean, bro, y'all what are y'all attacking these them and y'all mad that that he was about to take out your seraphim? You're mad he was about to take out your seraphim, but y'all got this seraphim attacking the straw hats. That's just weird. You know, that's you know. So so we see Vegapunk Edison. He says, "Oh, Eureka! I've just thought up a new invention." So I guess he's supposed to be like, you know, it's wild. You know, it's wild. He says, "Oh, Eureka!" I think Eureka is what Thomas Edison said. I think that's like a quote from Thomas Edison. I'm not sure. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel as though that is a quote from Thomas Edison. And not only that, when you see his little speech bubble, it has a light bulb. Thomas Edison, you know what I'm saying? Oda know what he doing, bro. Oda know what he doing. He's really giving you the Thomas Edison references with with this Edison Vegapunk. And he's talking about he just thought of up a new inventions. Thomas Edison, of course, being the inventor, right? So I'm assuming that Edison is indeed the inventor of the six paths of Vegapunk. And I'm gonna call it the six paths of Vegapunk because it just sounds better, right? The six paths of punk. And then we see Edison. I think is that Edison that flies off? Yeah, Edison flies off and says, um, leave the rest to you, Pythagoras. I have to jot down the blueprints right away. And then we see this big mech and it says, of course. So I'm assuming this big mech is indeed Pythagoras. It says Punk 04 on him. And Edison was Punk 03. And yeah, it says wisdom, Dr. Vegapunk, Pythagoras. And then they say you don't come across battle data this rich every day. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity. Let's get some input. Okay, so I think I'm starting to understand what's going on here. I think I'm starting to understand what's going on. I don't think Vegapunk is trying to necessarily like defeat the Straw Hats or kill them. I think, and I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Maybe he is. You know, but if that was the case, he had a chance to kill. He had a chance to try to kill the Straw Hats when Lilith had control of the ship. So I don't know. I think Vegapunk is I'm assuming Vegapunk is just testing out this new Seraphim and trying to see how it fares against strong individuals such as the Straw Hats. I think that's kind of the plan here. That's what I'm assuming the plan here is. And then Edison says, "My hands are always so full. At this point, I'd even take help from the cat." And then we see the cat running right next to him. Said, "Meow." I was about to say, is that cat like another Vegapunk? But I think it's just a normal Vegapunk or a normal cat. So we see Edison writing down ideas. He's just like jotting them down real quick. And it says the ideas won't stop flowing. York, be a doll and eat something for me. And then we see this girl, look like a girl, like throwing hamburgers and hot dogs in her mouth. And it says Punk 06 on her shirt. So I'm assuming this is Vegapunk York. And she says, "Sure thing." So it's kind of like the Vegapunks kind of remind me of the Seven Deadly Sins almost. Like where this would be gluttony. And then we see York just chomping on food and says, "Munch, munch, delicious. Bring seconds for Dr. York." Her current BMI is over 600. So does Yerk eating make um Edison work better? It's kind of what it seems like. Cause he says, "Be a doll and eat something for me." That's weird. Unless Yerk eating like empowers the other ones, you know what I'm saying? Like maybe how they work kind of bounce off each other. Like when Yerk eats, the rest of them could work better. Like Yerk could be kind of like the consumer that gives the other ones energy. Just saying, just saying. And her BMI must be important because it's over 600. And then we see Pythagoras. He says the Seraphim's attack patterns have continued to develop as it grows. That suggests that one's lineage factor really does store some of our recollections and capabilities. One's lineage factor really does store some of our recollections and capabilities. So their bloodlines or their DNA stores their capabilities and recollections. Hmm. I'm trying to get how they could get because this is Jinbei's DNA that he's talking about. Jinbei's lineage factor that he's talking about, and we know Jinbei's connected with the Straw Hats. He's a Straw Hat now, but he didn't really start. Because I'm trying to put this together, right? Because you could say that Jinbei knows how the Straw Hats operate, right? So the Seraphim would know the same thing, but the only hole in that logic would be Jinbei. When Jinbei met Luffy, he was already kicked out of the Shichibukai, right? He was a prisoner in Impel Down. That's when Jinbei and Luffy met. So I would assume Vegapunk got Jinbei's DNA as he was a Shichibukai, right? And Luffy met Jinbei after he was fired as a Shichibukai. So when they say like the lineage factor holds or stores recollections and capabilities, I'm assuming those recollections, I can't even say that word right, isn't necessarily the Straw Hats, like how they operate. That must be just straight up Jinbei's pure abilities. I'm assuming. And he also says we should try and accelerate their growth through that presence. Or we should try and accelerate their growth, although that presents new obstacles. Green blood concentration has risen and heart rate is up to 90 BPMs. Green blood. So does Jinbei have green blood or something? I don't know. And then Pythagoras says, I really need the toilet. I'd go myself, but I can't afford to waste any time. And he pops out like the head of Pythagoras pops out of the rest of the body. So I'm assuming Pythagoras is just the head part, and the rest of it is just kind of like a mech suit. You know, it's kind of like a mech suit where it you know helps him operate better or something. I don't know. Yeah. So we see somebody coming out of the bathroom as he just talked about using the bath. So hold on. I'm getting a little confused. I'm getting a little confused here, right? Because first we got these Vegapunks eating. They have to use the bathroom. So it's kind of telling me maybe they have some organic bodies, right? Like they have organic bodies, even though Pythagoras looks mostly android, right? But we see this other individual coming out who I assume is another punk as well, because it looked like it says punk on her thing, and she just came out of the bathroom. It says flush, and then right after the other Vegapunk said he had to use the bathroom. So do if she's using the bathroom, does it relieve him? I'm getting confused, right? Because we got one Vegapunk telling the other Vegapunk to continue to eat for him. So her eating must affect him somehow. I don't know. Maybe it's just like he just likes her eating and it helps him think better. Or maybe when she eats, it actually gives him energy. Just like this the Pythagoras Vegapunk saying he has to use the bathroom, and then we see another Vegapunk coming out of the bathroom. So maybe the other Vegapunk relieving herself relieved him as well. So maybe they kind of live through each other in certain aspects. I'm confused. I will say that. I am confused. But we do see this other Vegapunk walking out of the bathroom. Hold on. Is that other Vegapunk? Oh, okay. This other Vegapunk is actually York. So the Vegapunk that came out of the bathroom is also York as well, I think. Just like after going to the bathroom, she like burnt all those calories or something. Yeah, I'm getting a little confused here, y'all. So we see we see we see like four of the Vegapunks. We see what was her name? The fat one. The York. York. We see York, we see Edison, we see Pythagoras, and then we see I forgot the dang man, it's just so man. The one that Luffy ran into, she was like Wrath or something. I can't remember. I can't exactly remember what her name was. But we see her and they all say that hit the spot. And then the one that Luffy met says, "Gotta punch something to help me digest." Okay. And then we see York sleeping, and she says, "So sleepy," and now she's sleeping, and it says, "Dr. York's on today's fourth SDN cycle, snack dump nap." I like that. I need an SDN as well. I'm about to start an SDN as well, man. But I can't. I ain't got the time. I wish I had the time. I wish I could like have somebody to do that for me. You know. So when people say, "Hey, I wish I had more me's," Vegapunk managed to succeed in that. That is dope. And then we see we get a actual Oda name, and it says Dr. Vegapunk York Desire. All right, so we cut back to the action, and someone says, "That's enough. Seraphim, return." And is that Usopp screaming? He says, "I can't move." So I think Usopp was the one who was grabbed up by the Seraphim. Oh, well, nah, he ain't grabbed up at this point. So I don't know what's like stopping Usopp from moving. If that is indeed Usopp not unable to move. And then they said, "Edison, Lilith, Pythagoras, you three have had your fill too, right?" So after after what's her name finished eating and stuff, now they're good. Now they're good. And we see Pythagoras says, "Oh, what a shame." And then Edison says, "Eureka. Of course that scoundrel butts in when things finally get good," says Lilith. Lilith was enjoying. Lilith is about that violence. I'm telling you. Lilith was about that violence. And oh, okay. So I missed the panel and it says so so under the Yerk panel, we see like Yerk sleeping in bed and they're like taking all these dishes and they say carry over all the materials Dr. Pythagoras needs. Also, Dr. Edison is prepping for another experiment. Get to simulation room 88. Okay, so I missed that panel. Um and then we see the shot. We see Vegapunk 01 and he says, I'm Dr. Vegapunk. Shaka. You must be the Straw Hat Pirates. And we get Dr. Vegapunk, Shaka, aka Logic. And Sanji's yelling, that's us. What the hell did you do to our shoes? They're stuck to the floor. And Shaka says, Dom shoes can be magnetically disabled at any point while in the laboratory. And he says, Robin says, so you're saying resistance is futile then? And Shaka says, I know better than to let my guard down around pirates. And Usopp says, wait, we've already met 2 Vegapunks. That woman and the other one on the speaker. Yes, but I am also Vegapunk. And then Usopp says, oh yeah, did I forget to mention I'm Vegapunk too. Usopp playing around. And then Frankie says, would you cut it out? And then Shaka says, do you think this island looks like the future? Frankie says, it's beyond the future. I mean, just look at the Mecha Sea Beasts. They're also Vega Force 01 and the island Aircon 2. This is as futuristic as it gets. And Nami says, I've never seen anything like this place before. And then Frankie says, for real, what kind of goodies are you making here? And is that Frankie saying that or Sanji? He says, you feel me, Vega-chan? With like a heart. I think that's Frankie talking. And then I think Frankie continues and says, I want to take a full tour to take it all in. There's no way you and I wouldn't get along. I think that was Sanji saying, you feel me, Vega-chan? Or no, that was Frankie saying that. That was definitely Frankie saying that. And Shaka says, it's actually quite the contrary. This is an island of the past. And Frankie says, huh? So, what? Wow. An island of the past. So, I mean, I always kind of figured the Void Century might have been technologically advanced, right? Like, I always kind of figured it was like ahead of its time. Like the technology from the past might have even been better than the current technology. But I didn't know that all this technology was actually potentially Void Century technology. Bro, we about to get into some Void Century stuff, bro. So, yeah. So maybe when Vegapunk says like I'm just a humble scientist, I'm not that. When Vegapunk downplays his genius, right? Like when we first seen Lilith, and Lilith was downplaying the genius of Vegapunk. Maybe what Vegapunk was doing was not necessarily saying he's not smart, but he's just comparing himself to the Void Century technology. Like maybe as smart as Vegapunk is, he still doesn't measure up to the scientists of the Void Century. or he can't exactly replicate the science of the Void Century or past technology. Because maybe it's not Void Century technology. Maybe it could have been after Void Century, but before current time, or even before the Void Century, right? Like it could have been that as well. So, what I see is Vegapunk comparing himself or herself to Void Century technology or old technology. You know, that's kind of what I get. So we cut to Luffy's group for the first time in the chapter, and Luffy says, "Check it out, Chopper. You can tell because it's all rusted and stuff. It's real metal, not another hollow thing." Okay, Luffy, the dude making some deductions, man. I never really see Luffy make a deduction where he say, "Oh yeah, it's rusty, so it's actually real." And Chopper says, "Whoa!" And then we see Jory Bonnie says, "What the heck? Could something like this really move?" And then Jinbei says, "It could. How is that level of tech possible for something so ancient looking?" And then we cut back we cut back to Frankie and Sanji's group and Vegapunk's group, and Frankie says, "What do you mean by pass?" And then Shaka says, "Well, what if I were to tell you that long ago there was once a highly advanced kingdom, the ancient kingdom." The ancient kingdom, Joey Boy, all like, yo, we are getting some potential Void Century stuff. I mean, we're not getting it this chapter because this chapter about to be done, honestly. But we're getting it soon, right? We're getting some bombs. Oda is gonna be dropping some bombs rather soon. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. All right, so we get this panel with this big I don't know if that's like a armored cyborg or what. And it has like but it's giant though. It looked like giant armor, but I think it's also like mechanical as well. But I'm not, based on how Luffy and Chopper was talking about it, like it was technology. But it's like this giant with like what looks to be like a sword impaled through it. And Shaka is still talking, and he says, "Not unlike Egghead when it comes to technology, a civilization from 900 years ago. Would you believe me? 900 years ago. Okay, Void Century stuff." Yo. And then Jinbei says, or okay, so Luffy is like running up this thing, and Chopper says, "I want to ride it." And then Luffy says, "Let's go." And then we end the chapter. It says, "What was the world like back then?" One Piece chapter 1065. And bro, this ending. I'm loving it. Okay, all right. So let me recap this chapter real quick. All right, so we start with the Straw Hats being led to the laboratory. Or no, that's not where we start. My bad, guys, my bad. We start on the ship, right, with Zoro, Brook, and Caribou, and they're pretty much. It looks like they're dropping Caribou off at Egghead Island. Like they're pretty much kicking him off the ship. Zoro end up thanking Caribou, say, "Hey, I appreciate you helping my captain out, but bye, but bye later." And Caribou's kind of like, "Hey, y'all can't leave me here, man. Y'all cannot leave me here of all places. Come on, bro." Like, and so then we cut to Sanji, Nami, Usopp, Robin, and Frankie we cut to that group who's following Lilith, and they go through this wall like they could actually phase through, but you know when they get to the other side and start continuing, or when they get to the other side, Lilith is actually gone. So they continue and they run into the Jinbei Seraphim, right? Who attacks them. And so they're scuffling, they're fighting with Jinbei and everything. And this Jinbei Seraphim, we learn actually has devil fruit abilities. He has an ability similar to Senior Pink's devil fruit ability where he can actually swim through the ground. He can even use the ground as if it was water. Like that is a great devil fruit ability for somebody like Jinbei to have, because Jinbei being a fisherman, being able to swim, being a magnificent swimmer, right? Actually being able to swim through the ground, right? And use the ground as if it was water. So the Straw Hats are fighting this thing and they're having trouble because every time they try to attack it, it just starts swimming through the floor, right? And we see Frankie, who has experience fighting somebody with this ability. He's actually about to use his laser, but then Pythagoras and Edison intervenes and pretty much stops the attack. And we see Edison, he goes off because he goes away to jot down some ideas, and Pythagoras is gathering data from the fight between the Straw Hats and this Jinbei Seraphim. And so while Lilith and Pythagoras and what's Lilith, Pythagoras, and Edison are having fun gathering data, which we also meet. Well, we also meet York, who is kind of like, I guess York's duty is to take care of all the menial things for the other Vegapunks, right? Like sleeping, eating, just all that stuff, getting rest, all that stuff. So whenever Vegapunk is hungry, York eats for Vegapunk. Whenever Vegapunk is sleepy, York does that. So the other ones don't have to do that, or Vegapunk doesn't have to do that, So that's York's job. And so as they were having fun fighting, or as the other Vegapunks were enjoying this fight with Jinbei and the Jinbei Seraphim and the Straw Hats, Shaka shows up and pretty much stops the fight, right? And as he stops the fight, he also locks their feet into the ground, like he magnetized their feet so they can't attack him, because I don't blame him, seeing how the other Vegapunks were just using a Seraphim to attack the Straw Hats. So they might be a little salty about that. So it's kind of like he had to protect himself. He had I had to make sure that you don't do nothing like that, right? So he's talking to him. Frankie is fanboying it out and saying, look, I want to take a tour of this island that's so futuristic. It looks I want to see all the technology, everything that this island has to offer. And Vegapunk is like, see, this is where you're wrong. This isn't really an island of the future, right? Like everything all the technology you see here is pretty much based on the past. It's based on the past because there was a time 900 years ago, an ancient kingdom had advanced technology even better than the technology that we have now. So we learn that the technology used in the Void Century is actually better than the technology that they got now. Like what? Bro, that's dope, because we're getting little bits and pieces about we're starting to get bits and pieces about the Void Century. So I'm assuming next chapter we'll get even more. And while Vegapunk is explaining to Frankie and the other Straw Hats about the technology and how it's associated with the past, Luffy Luffy, Jinbei, Chopper, and Joribani, they stumble across this big mech looking thing that looks ancient as well. So they're like, bro, this thing looks ancient, but it also looks advanced. Like the technology looks advanced. I'm confused, right? And Luffy and Chopper just excited. They're like, hey, I want to ride it, right? So now this thing might be operable still, so maybe they can actually get it, hop in this thing and take it for a spin, which would be dope. But yeah, so dope chapter. You know, we getting more on Vegapunk, right? We learning more and more about Vegapunk and his other Vegapunks and how they operate. You know, which is making me think that, you know, it's it's kind of like the six paths, right? Like where they all kind of work with each other, and they're like they all are aspect of the original Vegapunk. We got Edison, who seems to be like the inventor. We got Shaka, who's kind of like the leader and the brains of everything. We got Pythagoras, who seems like he's the one to collect data, right? Like he's the data collector and everything. It could be more to it, but as from what we've seen from this chapter, that's kind of seemed like his job. Lilith, who Lilith is the scavenger, seems like she scavenges ships, right? And in scavenging these ships and stuff, like based on when we was introduced to her, maybe she uses the stuff she finds off these ships, the resources, right? So there's money that they could use to get more funding or whatever. Um, and maybe if there's something that they have that she could or the Vegapunks could use to create more things, that's her job to go find resources that could be used, that could be reused. Then there's the Wrath one, the one that Luffy and Jinbei their group met. I don't really know what her job would be. I'm still a little confused about that one. And then you have York's job seems to be to take care of the menial task, right? And we're also about to dig into some more about the Void Century. So yeah, I'm hyped for next chapter because I feel as though we're gonna get a very information dense chapter when it comes to the Void Century. That's what I'm hoping. So and we don't have a break, so I'm psyched for next chapter. Yeah, but anyway, y'all, make sure you guys hit that like button. Also, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications. Comment down below your thoughts on the chapter. What did I miss in this chapter? Right, it is a read through, or it is my first reading of the chapter, so I might have missed some stuff. You know what I mean? So you guys let me know what I might have missed. I might have got something wrong. I might have like looked at something and what I seen wasn't really what happened. Let me know in the comments. Also follow me on Twitch so you can engage with me in real time. You could correct me in real time and give me your feedback in real time. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook if you want to engage with me directly, and join the Discord. That's where I'm usually the most active. You can also send me stuff in the Discord. I have a submission channel where you can send me theories. If you're a creator, you can send me theories to react to, and I'll do it on like a One Piece reaction stream. If it's something that's outside of One Piece, I might react to it on like a chill stream or something. But yeah, anyway, y'all, it's your boy Sean P. the Bluff God, and I'm out of here. Peace.